Welcome, everyone, to episode 6 of Just Listen. I'm Peter Garino. Today's date is June 22nd, 2026. Took last week off. To be honest with you, I really just wasn't in the mindset to put out an episode between a few lifestyle changes and things going on in my life. I just wasn't like all there to do that, to put this out. So here we are a week later. I thank you for joining me this week. Let's go on the weekly rant. Well, 2 weeks worth of rant. Pretty much, I'm just going to sum it up. Big thing in the national news right now, a little over a week, celebrated by having a UFC fight, motocross, all that fun stuff on the south lawn of the White House. Yeah, it's a joke. He profited off of that. He has stake in TKO, which owns UFC. White House lawn completely destroyed right now. As much as everything else, everything he touches, he just destroys. It's already demolished at this point. Now is that he wants more money. Now, last I checked, was what, $700 million. What happened to that $300 million price tag? That it was all going to be donated by the big rich people. Reflecting pool, that's a shit show and a half. I'm remind everybody not to hire those pool guys. They painted it blue. DC is not a cool place during the summer, so and it's in that area gets a lot of sun. So when you add sun to darkness, photosynthesis grows algae. You know, this is basic science. What happens when we have somebody who doesn't know basic anything in the White House, and so there's that. What else happened? Oh, the big thing. Iran. I have no idea what's going on. I don't think they even know what's going on over there. One day it's open, one day it's closed. Another day it's open. Now they have a memorandum of understanding. Now, if the reports are coming out to be true on that, fuck you, Donald Trump. I'm not even going to be bashful about it now. I'm tired of it. Fuck you. 13 men and women have perished in that conflict of the United States military. And what are you going to tell their families? What did we accomplish? Vice President Vance, who was over in Switzerland trying to negotiate some kind of understanding what's going on and maybe some appeasements. They're allowing inspectors to go back into it. At this point, it seems like this is a worse deal than the JCPOA that Obama implemented that Donald Trump threw out. So if this is going to be any kind of a victory at all for the president or the cabinet, it's a joke. He needs to be called out on this. He's the one who threw away the JCPOA. He's the one who went over there in a conflict where it was just him and the United States and Israel. And it's just not even the United States, it's him. Congress never authorized this. They still haven't authorized this. They still haven't voted on it. Speaker Mike Johnson refuses to do anything about it, coward. I'm sitting here, everything I just spouted off. How much money has this man cost this nation? But it's exactly what he's done his entire career. He has bankrupted everything he's touched. Everything he's touched has not turned to gold. We have no agreement with any kind of trade agreement right now with China. And China's still doing their thing. And I don't see anything happening anytime soon with that. You know, so our farmers are like, what do we do? And, you know, many of them voted for Trump. So, I'm at the fence right now. Do we say F you to the farmers who voted for Trump? No, I don't think we should. I think we should do our best to support them as much as we can. You know, there is a reason why they voted for him. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because the Democrats suck ass. They completely suck ass because, you know something? They worry about the cities and they worry about minorities. The rest of this country, 80% of this country, they pretty much said, we don't care about you. This is why they continuously lose. At least there's a lot of rebuke right now towards the president right now. Do I stand here and thank Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now out of Congress? No, fuck you. You know, it's like, yeah, now you're speaking up. How about all those years that you were standing up and, fighting for him, let him do whatever he wants. Now he's doing what he wants, what you fought for him to do. And here we are. It is your mess. Don't sit here and grandstand. This whole two-party system is completely flawed for this reason alone. The Democrats refuse to do anything to help the rest of the nation. The Democrats need to look at how can we help the little guy. And I'm not saying that minorities shouldn't be represented. They should be represented to the T, as everyone should be. We don't care about you. And that's exactly the message they're sending to independents, especially the independents in middle America. And Republicans grow a spine. You guys need to grow a spine. I agree with a lot of them against the Democrats. That's why I'm a registered independent. Fiscally, the Democrats are just like tax, tax, tax. Look at the state of Vermont. State of Vermont just taxes the crap out of everybody. The topic this week is local municipalities and elections. It just seems like right now, all the local municipalities, as also, the state legislators, their answer to this in the state of Vermont is to raise taxes on everything, and that's going to solve the issues. Let's not go down that rant right now. Elections are coming up this fall. Vote, 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 vote. Actually, I do care about nationally. We need to look at who represents us. It's not a presidential election this year. So we need to work out the people who's below, within Congress, in the state house, and go for, and all the way down to municipalities. And we need to look at every single person in those and like, what are we doing? Because they're not working for us. He had the whole Doge thing. We saved so much money here. Okay, where's those savings going? To your vanity projects? Because that seems like he's having more of that. That's where it's going, to his little vanity projects. And it's actually exceeding that from what my understanding of the monies are. $14 million on that reflecting pool just to turn green. Now, how much money are we in the hook on for to repairing that White House lawn? I heard an estimate about $2 million on that. So we're on the hook on for that. For him to have a little birthday celebration that he profited on. It's a joke. Congress needs to take a real good look at what they're doing. And anyone who is doing insider trading within Congress, you need to be done, because your time is coming up and people are going to be done. The revolution's coming. It's coming. I think it's at an accelerated pace right now because people are tired. Wealth inequality in this country is so far. Bernie Sanders, the wealth inequality. You haven't worked a fucking day in your life, Bernie, outside of politics. You came from New York City, you went to Burlington, became a mayor of New Burlington. Who knows? And that city's a shit show. Some things need to break, and we need to take a good hard look at what's going on. I think, that was 2 weeks worth of rant. Woo! All right. Weekly topic, local municipalities. I don't know if many people read the local news here in my area. Local municipalities, complete shit show. That was the start of the town I live in, Hartford. Hartford, what are you doing? I'm like, we don't have a town manager who knows how to budget. We have our road crews. They literally wait until things are catastrophic in this town before they even start thinking about, oh, maybe we should actually work on the infrastructure. I've had a water main break just less than, 100 yards from my house, break probably 6 times in the past 2 years. And I don't blame the public works people. One thing, they're underpaid. Secondly, there's not enough of them. So I don't know where our money's going. I have an idea where that's going. That's going to be a little bit, about 5 seconds, but not 5. There was a bond for the water lanes throughout the town, and especially in the village of Wilder. So I'm thankful for that. The people voted for that. Needs to be done. A few other bonds. Town of Hartford, get off Queechy's dick. I remember after Irene happened and the little covered bridge got washed out, and that needed to be replaced. That was an iconic thing within town of Hartford. I'm not against that. Luckily, they put up 3 tiers on it up for a bond vote for the town. The town voted for the middle one, but the upstream one, I'm like, why are we voting? We have a lot of businesses over there that profit from that bridge and from the tourism that this town promotes. And they're like, oh, how about the businesses over there put some money into that they make money off of that? But no, we won't. Queechy Lakes Association, people, houses in that actually pay a less of a tax rate, property tax rate, than the rest of the town. If that is still true to this date and in happening, like, why is this happening? In the town of Hartford, what are we doing to bring in more businesses to the town? And I'm not saying bring some big old box stores, this, and that. We need to figure out something to get people, especially the younger generation, the young kids coming into the world right now, to stay in this town. Because right now we are an aging town. Because once all these people die off, the housing market's going to go. It's going to happen within the next 10 years. It goes up, down, up, down, up, down. This is more of an uptrend that's ever had before, at least in my lifetime. We need to look at that and say, what are we going to do to try to keep these kids in town? And what are we doing about the housing situation? That's a whole nother crap show. Twin Pines. Like, what? Why are we catering to them? There was a thing for low income as well as market rate apartments. There we are. And then they're like 49 units or somewhere around there, attached into a bigger unit complex they already have in White River. And the town lease put them, they say, hey, you guys need to put an action plan together. But what comes to, I think a lot of the town people is having issues with, especially with the properties that are managed by Twin Pines, is the drug issue that's coinciding with criminal activity, theft, and violence. They're asking the town of Hartford, whether the police department and or the fire department, at least once a year, to have a meeting with all the residents of the Twin Pines who resides within Twin Pines housing, to go over things, this, now. We need to vet these people. And I think this also goes to a higher point of like the state legislator. State of Vermont, when it comes to, they give handouts, not hand-ups. I had 3 kids working full-time over at a grocery store. And she went to the place to stay and ask it for help. She was working full-time. And they told her that she was making too much money as a grocery store clerk, that she couldn't use help. If you quit your job, we'll give you everything you need. Why is that a thing? Why is that a thing? Why are we punishing people who are trying to do better, trying to help the community, trying to actually, be somewhat productive in this community? These people who are jobless right now, and they choose to be jobless, all they do is they put in applications to jobs. And everyone in this upper valley is hiring. So what they do is put applications in, they see a response, and they just don't go to the interviews. But that checks off a little box within the state, so they still continue receiving state funds to support them. Enough. If you're not going to work, I'm not even saying you have to work full time. I understand having kids and working, especially if you're a single parent, it is tough. I don't know personally, I'm not a parent, but we need to look at this whole thing, and this needs to happen at the state house, at the state level. This whole aspect of only giving handouts instead of hand ups. People fall in hard times, but they're always trying to build themselves up. And God forbid, if you own a vehicle, guess what? That counts as income, because they can say, oh, you can sell that anytime. True. That's very true. I'm not debating that. You can sell it anytime. But I tell you, winters are awful cold when you're walking, 5, 6, 10 miles to get to work at least. So, yeah, no, we need to figure that out. And that's in the state level. What else is going on in other local towns I'm hearing about? Town of Lebanon. So, working where I work, I talk to a lot of people. And the Lebanon American Legion, they put up a new sign up there, a little tiny sign. Town of Lebanon, I guess, is reportedly starting to fine the American Legion because that is out of ordinance. That's what they're fighting about right now? A little sign. Granted, okay, so the American Legion is a place where veterans and veterans' families can get together and have a good time, do whatever they do. Okay, so what they do in there, that's their business. But they also do a lot of good for veterans in this community, more so than the town of Lebanon does. So something, that town needs to be, looked at, and people in that town need to look at who the representatives are and go from there. Town of Lebanon during COVID protocols was the last town, I bet you, in the Northeast to repeal mask mandates, and that was over a month after the previous one did. And are they going by Dartmouth Hitchcock? So is Dartmouth Hitchcock running Lebanon? If they are, just say that. Don't be, throw the balls and say Dartmouth Hitchcock's going to run the town and we're going to do what they say. I'd be willing to bet, especially for a hospital that's considered nonprofit. So I can tell you where all those taxes are, especially ever since they absorbed APD, Alice Pecte. who was, in a profit hospital, now is absorbed into Dartmouth. Now it's a nonprofit. So all those taxes got lost for the town of Lebanon. Working class people, people who worked and then lived in this town their entire lives, are frustrated and upset, understandably, because you have people on the boards and the select boards who have no reality of what's actually going on. And they're hiring managers, both, and this is the same thing in town of Hartford, who have no idea what the F they're doing. Let's dive into Claremont. That completely fucking shit show. Like, what is going on down there? They can't keep a town manager, and it's reported right now that the main reason why they keep town managers is because the select board just keeps on railroading them. What is going on in the town of Claremont? I just saw that the former Parks and Recreation director just got charged with embezzlement, a misdemeanor amount. So that'd be interesting how that happens. But the whole shit show from last year's school situation, the deficit. Like, what are we doing? That is the highest tax rate town in the state of New Hampshire. And yet again, they can't get their finances in order. In the state of New Hampshire Constitution, my understanding of it is that if somebody applies for any kind of state assistance, they qualify, they have to receive it. No ifs, ands, or buts. So that probably does raise taxes. But you sit there, I'm like, what is going on in that town? And I think that's not just happening in that town. This is all stemming from, I think select boards are, to the point, are too comfortable, and they've gotten away with too much hidden because people don't check up on them. The residents need to check up on this. I think I said on a previous podcast, people have gotten lazy, including myself. I'm number one uno for blame myself for being lazy, of not know who I'm voting for and what they're voting for. So my task right now for the next month is that I'm going to try to develop a 10-point questionnaire for each level of government. So it's local municipalities, who's running, and then at state level, and if there's any federal, which I have to check up on that. Let's just see who's running then, and then let's see how they answer these questions. That includes incumbents and new runners. Now I'll be more harsh with incumbents because right now I just don't think what's happening is working. I know one of the questions are, if you're an incumbent, what have you accomplished to help the people that you represent in your community? And the people who are new coming, what do you want to accomplish, and and how do you want to accomplish that, and where do you want to, and go from there. I want to make about 10 questions per level. Send it out emails, and I'd like to see who responds. But we need to look at our local municipalities and our local governments and look and see what the fuck are we doing. We need to see who's running. I like to see, especially at the municipality level, I want to see who's running in my town. What are you running on? And if you're an incumbent, like I said, I will be coming after you, not violently or like that, but I will be coming with more hard-hitting questions, and I would expect more answers from you if you want to stay in office. Because right now, term limits are a joke. People, it will never, I don't think in my lifetime it will ever happen. We have the power to have term limits, and that's how we vote. Just vote him out. Boom, done. Bernie, he needs to be done. He hasn't accomplished anything. He actually has helped the VA a lot more than I think people give him credit for. And I give him props and 100% kudos for that. So our veterans need more help. And he has fought for that. More so than any Republican that I'm aware of. So I do give him credit. He has done some things to help the VA, but and there's still need work to be done there. But without him, I think things will be worse for that facility, in those facilities. So thank you, Senator Sanders. But maybe it's time that we need to look at other people and see what's going on. This is where we're at right now. I would love if you're listening to this, and if you have any ideas on questions for any level, please put in the comments below. That'll be great help. I would like to look at them. I appreciate you listening. Well, until next time, hey, I appreciate you. Have yourself a great day. Thank you so much.